What's up, everybody? It is a bilingual affair today. I'm not gonna lie, outside of my wife, this is probably my favorite person in all of Texas. Me and her have been really good friends for a while, and it's amazing. It's amazing to finally have her here. But before we introduce her, T-Light, hit that bumper, my brother.
Mi gente, from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, via Dallas, Texas, it's your boy, the conservative Papi.
What's up, everybody? I'm Daniel. This is the Conservative Papi podcast, and I have my very, very good friend, my sister in Christ, Bondie Metchore. She is a web designer, social media mogul. I don't know if it's a mogul, but she's definitely one of the people that really inspires me to push myself. And when I see her up till 4:00 in the morning, I'm like, dang, I'm not working hard enough. What's up, Bondie? How are you?
Hola, hola, hello. How are you?
Tranquilo, tranquilo. ¿Cómo estás?
All good over here. Thank you for having me. So excited.
Man, tell the Conservative Papi audience why you're here.
Well, because someone offered me a meal. So, no, just kidding. Well, I just love this. Like, I've been with you kind of brainstorming since way before the beginning of Conservative Papi. And it's just been awesome to see you going at it.
We can't say the name that we started off with back in May because of legal issues. But it's amazing to finally have you here. It's amazing to finally, we talk on a regular basis. You're my de facto business coach, even though that's not one of your titles, but we're just going to add it on there.
Awesome. I like that.
A business coach, social media influencer, web designer. She's a little bit of everything, and I love this. And man, I want to be the first to break this. This is the second Conservative Papi exclusive. Bondie Metchore Designs is an official sponsor of the Conservative Papi podcast because she's building our website. She's helping us get to the 21st century and then some. So tell them, what can we expect when we finally see the Conservative Papi? ConservativePapi.net, exactly.
Well, we've been working on it, brainstorming also on it. The idea is to have everything in one spot. So all your fans and all your followers can come there, find your latest post, all your opinionated articles. They can find all of your cool guests, podcasts. So they can have all of it in one spot.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So without further ado, Mr. Producer, is it time for some current events? All righty, we got the nod. So I think the biggest story today, Bondie, it's the train derailment out in Washington State. As of earlier today, the last article I saw is 3 people dead because of the Amtrak derailment in Washington State. But our very opinionated, very opportunistic president, which is a love-hate deal with him, we've talked about this, wants to push the infrastructure spending because of one accident. Your opinion, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or should we be talking more spending when we don't even have an economy completely under control yet?
It's difficult to say. Well, Trump loves the spending. He loves creating. He loves new stuff. And that's all it takes, one incident to push it forward, It's good and it's bad, like as anything. It's good for whoever is there. It's good for whoever's going to work it. It's good for whoever is involved. However, there might be a lot more important things to address right now than that.
I completely 100%. I agree with you, but there's 2 arguments to this. There's the hardcore Trump lover America first argument. There's the well, we got to bring back jobs to America, and if we got to spend money to bring jobs back, that's the way we're going to do it. But it's another bailout. It's another 2008 bailout, and yeah, we need roads to be fixed. 100%. Does the government have to spend the money? I don't necessarily think so. I think you could do it cheaper, faster in the private sector than you could if government was taking care of this whole thing.
Well, that's basically what Obama did, though. He just let's push a bunch of money into infrastructure. You know?
That's exactly right. This is why she's my friend, guys. Because she said stuff like this. That's exactly right. It's Bush put up a bunch of money to bail out the banks, and then Obama did the same thing for infrastructure and for middle class stuff, the cash for clunkers and all this. I don't want Donald Trump and his very conservative agenda to fall into that progressive infrastructure bailout spending mindset. That's just not a good look for him. He's the business guy. Attract businesses, make a deal, make a contract. Let one of these construction companies give you the best offer that they have in the shortest time frame, and watch all the roads get fixed in under 3 years.
Yeah.
Just saying, it can happen if we have the manpower, we have the people. We just need to focus it in the right direction. We don't need to. We don't need to be. The government doesn't need to be spending the money.
It shouldn't be a priority.
It really shouldn't. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the truth. Moving on.
All right.
I think this is my favorite story of the day. I'm not gonna lie. ChickfilA saves the day.
Okay, let's see this. I like that.
ChickfilA saves the day. So, because of all the weather storms and all these cold fronts happening across the country, thousands of people got stranded in Atlanta International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody knows, it's common knowledge, Chick-fil-A doesn't open on Sundays.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A opened on a Sunday.
Wow.
To feed thousands of stranded passengers. I love this story because I posted this story on a couple of different groups on Facebook, and there were people saying, but they hate gay people. So what if they hate gay people?
They're feeding them.
They're feeding gay people. They're feeding everybody. They don't care. I mean, yeah, it's a Christian organization, but at the end of the day, who cares? They stepped up to the plate and they did the right thing. I mean, I get it. There's thousands of other companies that open on Sundays, but when you're...
Were they there, though?
Thank you. Right? Right? Were they in the terminals where people were going hungry and not having anything because they were closed? I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say because I don't know. It's to me, it just shows that they have integrity as a company. They have integrity as from the top all the way down, and people sacrifice their family time on a Sunday to help people that really, needed it, even though people that travel can be. Mm-hmm. A couple of words that I don't want to say right now. What do you think, man? Are you going to continue to buy some Chick-fil-A and support them?
Of course, I've always done it. I love it. I wish they open on Sunday, but that's good. That's basically, if you want to see it from the business perspective, that's good branding. That's what their brand is all about. You're doing God's work. You're guiding your business through God's laws and God's book. You help when people need you. That's what it is.
That's it.
I love it.
I mean, I don't know. That was my favorite story of the day. It's good news, right? I think as Christians, sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day, especially in politics and this whole podcasting world. We like talking about the bad news. Trump messed up today. Congress did something bad today. But I saw this story and I loved it because fried chicken selling company that takes Sundays off said, you know what, we need to do something for people. And guess what? That's what America needs. That's what people need. Mm-hmm. And it's just good news, not more political spin.
Exactly.
That's what I love, man. That's what I love.
Yeah, we need more of that.
We definitely do. And I think pivoting away from the good news, we're going to go into some...
Let's go back.
Into some... I don't know if this is good news. I think it's good news. But it's also very controversial news. A couple of months ago, the U.S. Department that deals with the embassies, I'm forgetting the name right now. I want to say it's the State Department. They decided to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And now it seems like the United States is the only one standing alone in the UN. Should we stick to our guns as Americans and say, hey, we're a Judeo-Christian nation, regardless of what you believe, we're going to go to Jerusalem, where we should have been in the beginning anyway? What do you think?
Ah, gosh, that was huge. When that happened, I just could not believe it. I mean, there's been an issue that has been going on for centuries. It's been an issue that has been there since the beginning of times. And to see that the U.S. just decided to just go for it. Like, whatever, let's just do it.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see what happens. I just could not believe it. And I think it really sets a standard. It's like Trump and the U.S. government is willing to go against the entire world if they believe so, if they believe it.
Oh, yeah. And I believe 100% that it's the right move for the United States and the Middle East. But it's one of those things where it's kind of hard, right? Because Trump in the last several months has shored up some of those broken relationships that we've had in the last 10 years in the region, right? We finally got a strong stance in the region that is not necessarily popular, but it's very definitely #MAGA, right? Make America great again. It's that whole agenda that Trump ran over. His brand. He's going to be strong in the Middle East. That's what he's doing. And it's very unpopular. What it does, it puts, we've had this weird #MAGA situation going on since Trump got in office and a strong stance in the Middle East. But I'm looking at this report, and I really sat down and read this report. And I don't know if it's hard because CNN, and this is a CNN written article, I take everything CNN says with a rock of salt, not a grain, a rock of salt, a rock of salt, like the rock of Gibraltar size piece of salt. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous what's going on with. Hold on, let me see what's.
Trump said he was gonna do that in campaign. He's doing what he promised. He's not really going in a different path.
No, he's not.
So
he's not only not going in a different path. He's doing. I think. There we go. He's not only fulfilling a lot of his policies and a lot of his promises, but I think the only thing that's hurting him is his over eagerness to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
he's tweeting.
His tweeting, oh my God, his tweeting. I think it's the only major issue I have with him. I mean, he's not the most likable guy as it is. I think the fact that he's on Twitter is cool because it gives us something to talk about. But at the same time, it's like not cool because, come on, bro. You're like 60-something years old. Leave that to your like assistant down the street to do that for you. And CNN is exploiting that. I mean, well, let me try to quote this here. According to this article, and the person who wrote this, I don't see their name on it, but whatever. Palestinian leaders slammed the U.S. decision, citing that it is further proof that the White House could no longer play the impartial role of Israeli-Palestinian peace process. That's a whole load of crap because America historically has always been pro-Israel. Our policies have always been pro-Israel. Mm-hmm. We believe as a country, regardless of the individuals, the policy of the United States, at least for the last 50 years, is pro-Israel. We're always backing them no matter what. They're not an official member of the UN. They're our little brother in the region. Somebody attacks them, they have to deal with us. Yeah. That's the fact. That's the point. And Palestinian leaders that want to try to take what is rightfully Israel's land, not only biblically, historically, they're just as bad as any other dictatorship in my eyes because they're trying to take something. Israel's not trying to take over countries.
They just want their own land.
They just want to stay where they're at. It's like, leave me alone, bro.
Yeah.
Let me be here. That's it. This is a tough move for the State Department because now they have to defend, 50 years worth of policy in a bold, brash move. I love the move as an American and as a Christian, but I think it's a hard move to defend on the world stage.
Yeah.
Well,
because no one really believes it's been going on for so long. It's such a big issue. It's just this humongous issue that happened, and it's just there. It's one of those things that, yeah, they're bullied, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And just to come and just do something about it,
yeah.
People don't believe it. Like, people don't believe that he's actually going to do what he said. Well, he did.
He's doing it. I mean, I mean, the tax, to go back to his campaign promises, the tax cut is coming through. All his appointees from his list are getting approved. The jobs are coming back. GDP is at 3.5%, highest it's been in 20 years. Unemployment rate is below 5%, first time in 16 years. I mean, outside of the tweeting, we really can't be mad at this guy's, job so far. It's hard to say because, we keep up with the news, we keep up with the media, but that's it. I mean, the job speaks for itself, and CNN can tote their fake news and their unsourced articles, and other companies like MSNBC can slander him. But the fact of the matter is, the American people don't care about that anymore. It's what can you do for my pocket, and how can you help me keep a job that pays well and helps me buy a house for my family. I'm sorry, they said it back in the 90s. It's the economy, stupid, and that's what he's focusing on. It's the economy. That's our current events, everybody.
Nice.
Man, those 3 articles. One not so controversial. Well, it can be. Depends on who you're talking to. Other 2 are very controversial, but that's it. So, Bondie.
Yeah.
Tell me, man. Tell people what you're all about. What you do on a day-to-day, other than build awesome websites for people. What do you do? I mean, you have your hands in just about everything.
Pretty much, yes.
From your kids to helping one of the bigger churches here in the Dallas area, to really, helping not only the Hispanic community, but helping the Dallas community in general. You do a lot. Tell us what you do and what your passions are and where they're leading to going into 2018.
Oh boy, well, let's start from the beginning. I was born in paradise, pretty much. Born and raised in Costa Rica.
You're not the only one that was born in paradise.
No,
okay?
I was.
No, you're not the only one that was born in paradise.
But yeah, no, there are only 4 million Costa Ricans that were born in paradise.
It's okay. There was only 4 million Puerto Ricans that were actually born in Puerto Rico.
That's true. But I've been here in Dallas about 3.5 years now. 4 years next July, and I just love it. It's great. It's so full of opportunities and possibilities, and just so many options to do everything that you want. I love that. And that's really what I focus on, grabbing everything, everything that I can. I've met a lot of people who've moved here. I'm an immigrant. I have a thick accent, but I don't care. I just go for it. And if there's an opportunity to help someone, I jump at it.
And I think that's what attracts me to you as a person. And I mean that in all honesty, as a friend, as a just a business partner at all. It's that you are so open-hearted. You help people, build from the bottom up. I mean, with me, you've done that from the beginning. Give me tips here and there, how to build social media presence, how to write that helps because you can write. And you can write very well, but you don't necessarily write very well for the internet.
Yeah.
And that was a whole other coaching that I had to learn. And you've helped not only me, and you've helped me not only in the private part of my life, but in this business aspect, building the podcast, giving the inspiration, and alongside it with my wife being one of my biggest fans. And I really do appreciate that, because this is honestly going to be one of my favorite podcasts. I'm sitting here with you, and hopefully you can come back. But it's sitting here and saying, hey, you're not just, building a website, you're helping somebody fulfill their dreams. Mm-hmm. And you being an immigrant, you mentioned that. How much of that immigrant mentality, the hustle mentality, how much of that plays into every little thing that you do?
I think a lot. I think that drives me, that motivates me, because when you come here, I had the blessing that I didn't have to come here without a visa, or, I didn't have to struggle that way. I had a visa, and I now have my residency. So I went through the process. So to me, that was a blessing. I wasn't hiding. I was never in that position. However, I know that being here means there's a lot of people I'm leaving behind, including my mom, including my grandma, and my brother. So if I'm here, it has to mean something. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When you get to a country like this, you know what you're leaving behind. You know how hard it could be in your own country. And you see all these possibilities that a lot of people take for granted, really, you know. And I'm just not willing to to leave them on the table. If I can go for them, I will. And if I could help people, I would absolutely love it. When I started my business, my main goal, and you'll read it on my website, you can read it on my Instagram, everything that I write goes along the lines of me being the backstage person of successful entrepreneurs, successful business owners. I know what it takes. I know how hard it is. I know how many hats you have to wear to make your business successful. And I know you need a whole team behind you. Not only, like you said, from mindset, from telling people, you can do this, go for it. You know, sometimes just having someone who really believes in you makes a huge difference. But also, you know, yeah, you want to be on social media, but what does it take? You know, it takes a lot of time and effort and strategy and planning behind it. And that's me. That's basically what I do. I help people. My business is people's business. You know, that's my thing.
Es ese bochinche que le encanta a esta mujer.
Basically, sí.
But it's, you say something that's so important, and it's, you know, it's so easy to use your phone for pleasure and to drone out and to become a zombie, like my dad says, right? Mm-hmm. You can be on Facebook for hours and look at the same 3 pictures and be like, right? But I think when I linked up with you, you showed me that the phone is a tool. Mm-hmm. The computer's a tool. And if you use the tool the right way, you can become part of the new economy. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that listen to this show and they'll say, well, you know, it's not traditional, right? It's not the traditional business on the street. It's not, you know, the mom and pop shop anymore. And they're right. Mm-hmm. And they're right. Unfortunately that they're right, right? They're not, you know, it's globalization and what the internet has brought to us with social media, with websites and the whole .com, .net, whatever. It morphed business into this new thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't exactly know what this new thing is and exactly how it completely works. But the fact that we can sit here, you know, we're glad that you're in the same city. We can actually sit here and have an actual conversation, right? What it does is all of a sudden it links me to potential business people and business partners, not only in Dallas, but, you know, New York City, Sydney, Australia, you know, Hong Kong. And all of a sudden my world, my backyard, my small business is no longer, you know, from Main Street to 4th Street. Now it's from my hands to the next guy in China.
Exactly. And
that is the pro, right? That's the pro to globalization. That's the pro to the 21st century media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter generation.
It's a beautiful thing. And like, just to give you an example, this week, I went into this group on Facebook for Instagram pods, right? So I was looking for one that was in the niche of entrepreneurs, business owners. So I posted there, is there any group here for entrepreneurs? And I was like, no, but if there's one, I'll join. No, but if there's one, I'll definitely join. So there's this lady and contacted me and she said, do you want to start one? I'm like, sure, let's start it. So we started doing the whole thing, adding new people. We created this whole cool network of entrepreneurs supporting each other's Instagram channels and posts and all that stuff. And then I asked her, because I said, okay, well, I'm going to go to sleep, because it was about 1 a.m. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go pick up my kids. I'm like, where are you? She was in Australia. And now we're like business partners in this whole Instagram thing. And just, you know, I was on my phone texting and just, I was like, oh, let's see what I can find there. It's really cool.
I mean, it's the beauty of, you know, 2017. It's the beauty of going into 2018. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful thing. And I hate to sound like a millennial when I say this. I really, because I am. I really am. But at the same time, I have a lot of respect for my elders, and I have a lot of respect for people that came before me, that paved the road to get here. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to change the wheel. We're just trying to re-innovate it. We're trying to make it better.
Make it our own.
Make it our own. Make it better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had this discussion with my dad, and he hates the fact that, you know, I'm putting in the hours. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I am really bad at this. Sometimes I do it while I'm watching TV, but it's because I look at it and I think about it. Sometimes it's like I can sit here and watch an hour and a half of The Walking Dead and enjoy it, right? Or I can listen to The Walking Dead and I can post, I can interact, I can build something while I'm it's not a good use of my guys. Single men, if you want to keep your wife, don't do what I'm doing. All right, but I hate to say it, got to be like Gary Vaynerchuk. He says it. Where's your hustle at? Right, and we're trying to build this hustle to be, while everybody else is watching Walking Dead. Well, guess what? Yeah, I'm listening to The Walking Dead, but I'm posting, I'm interacting, I'm networking, and I don't know how many times I'm up writing, and I get you making FaceTiming me saying, "Hey, I'm building a website. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's 2:00 in the morning. Go to sleep."
FaceTime you at 2 in the morning.
Like, it's 2:00 go to sleep. And she was like, "I can't. I have 3 projects due by the end of the week."
I know.
And it's that kind of hustle that I think a lot of people, especially in this weird age group that we're at, that we're coming finally of age, right? We
You are.
finally of age.
I'm young.
Yeah, she's taken. I'm sorry, she's taken. But it's that weird aspect of, man, the hustle. Where's your hustle at? Everybody talks about hashtag hustles, hashtag team no sleep. But are you really hashtag Are you really hashtag team no sleep? Because I can guarantee you, I can talk to Bondie. Oh man, any time of the day, and she's working. I don't know what day she's not working. Like, really, I really don't. And I'm over here, I still have a day job, and I gotta, manage my day job, building the podcast, and all of a sudden I'm then like, Bondie's doing this full time. Holy crap!
I'm telling you, being an entrepreneur is hard. There's no other way to say that. It's really hard, and you'll find a lot of obstacles. You're gonna find a lot of failure. I failed many times, but it just is who you are. I've had conversations with God when I tell him, God, you gave me this desire. You made me this way. You made me wanna do this. You're also gonna have to give me the clients, and you're also gonna have to do the project for me. But because I know it comes from him. He made me. He gave me the desire. He's gonna give me the tools to fulfill it. And there's no other way around it. Sometimes even our own loved ones are against us, and we cannot see it as a bad thing because they love us and they just want to protect us, and they have their own fears and their own reflections to what we do. But like, even my husband once told me, like, stop this hobby and get a real job, and so he was like, I don't want to. And it's just it's just a way of him trying to protect me and trying to do what's been proven to work and stop trying so hard. But it's who I am. It's who you are. It's part of why we were made for.
And I think you're 100% right. I mean, I'm actually looking right behind you, Bondie. There's this thing that says hard work beats talent, right? And I think you're an example of that, right? How many people, you've done this for a while, how many people that are visually probably more talented than you are?
Not many. No, just kidding. Yeah.
No, but I think what makes you different, and what makes a lot of the people that I've brought to the podcast in this entrepreneurial series in the last several weeks is that's it. It's hard work. It's are you putting in the time? Are you putting in the hustle? From Chris M, overseas all the way in Australia, homeboy is doing events basically daily. He's putting out, episodes and content, every 2-3 days, steady hard work. Jose, my brother, he's, acting, doing gigs every week. He's putting out, his weekly episode on Facebook every week. He's putting in the hard work. He's doing the networking. You're another person. You're not only have your hands full with your website business and doing all that, but you're also helping, people build their social media presence. You're helping small businesses get their SEOs on point. You have your hands literally in everything. and it's inspiring. I really want people to understand that this isn't somebody that, you see on TV that has their own. No, this is the real deal Holyfield. Real deal Holyfield. And it's just like Thomas, has his hands in everything. And I don't know how the heck Thomas makes time for me. I really don't. I really don't, because these are the people that are out here, they don't necessarily want to work in a cubicle, but they know that to make a living, to contribute to the American dream, is you gotta hustle. You gotta work. You gotta put in the hours. You gotta lose some sleep. You gotta go hungry sometimes.
Yeah.
And stay hungry. Man.
It's fun. Like when you're following your dream, when you're following your motivation, it literally kicks you out of bed. Like in the morning, at night, that's all you think. That's all you do. And I do this mostly for my kids. I have 2 little kids, and I just want to show them. One day, they're going to look back and say, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how you look like. It doesn't matter who the heck the president is. You could do it if you want to.
And I think you hit another thing that I was going to say. It doesn't matter who's in office, right? Tax plans are going to change every couple of years. We elected the guy we like. Healthcare, yeah, that's gonna change. Politics, it's important. I'm not gonna say that. That's my bread and butter. I love politics. I love talking politics. I love talking policy. That's a passion. That's a huge passion of mine. But there's more important things. And you hit it. It's family. Is your hustle for your family? Is your hustle for your loved ones, for your significant other, for your kids? It's sometimes, I like to say I'm not a morning person, but I'll stay up, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning working on my stuff. Yeah. So maybe that's why I'm not a morning person. But, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I do some more work, and my wife will be the first one to tell you that she hates it because sometimes I'm on my phone because I can't turn things off. But growing it is where it's at. Growing it and don't get complacent. I think you stop when you lose motivation. Stop. Seriously, call it a day, retire, do something else, go back to your 9 to 5. But if you lose that fire to be creative, if you lose that fire to network, to talk to people, you have to. It's a weird personality type. Thomas, how the hell do you do it? You're not much of a people person. I don't know how. He's just nodding his head, guys. He doesn't like to talk. He really doesn't. How do you do it? I like to talk, bro. Man. Anyway, that's it, man. So we're talking about how I asked a question to my previous guest. How does the current president affect your business?
It doesn't.
Explain why it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't. To me, the right clients for me are there. They're ready. God is behind me in every single thing I do. Whether it fails or it succeeds, God is behind it, and it's for a reason. When I see my goals, I see them from the other side. I see them, I already got them. I already succeeded. I don't see like, I want to have $5,000 a month. No, I have $5,000 a month. That is my desire. That is my goal. And that's what's going to happen. Now let's put things in motion for that to happen. People need websites. It's 2018. People need social media. People have businesses. People go for it. People need help and coaching. It's necessary regardless of who's in office. It doesn't affect me. Yes, well, I might have to pay more taxes. I'll just work harder, and I'll get the money to pay that. Healthcare might be a little high right now. It'll happen. I'm not afraid of a challenge. You just have to go for it. And it really doesn't affect me because I try my best to not depend on the government, And that's the issue. With Obama, he created a lot of social programs. He created all these basically dependency. And that's all these issues that come on with the new president because all these people then are left on the water. Like they don't know what to do because they became dependent on the government. You can't do that. You cannot depend on who's in office. You cannot depend, not even on the Congress. You're out for yourself.
Man, she's preach somebody, please. And this leads to my next question. I wasn't going to ask this, but I think you bring up something good. You don't vote yet in this country.
Yep.
No, you don't. But you're very, very up to date, and you keep up with a lot of things. And sometimes I sit there, how how well informed you are, right? And that's one of the things that I really, honestly, I cherish out of our friendship, because I can have these really awesome conversations. But we're Latino. Lo latino de nosotros siempre nunca va a cambiar.
Yep.
But ¿por qué nuestra gente, why do they always vote towards the social programs, not away? Because every Hispanic that I've ever met in my life is a hustler. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't want to admit it, right? They hustle. They either work their butts off for a construction company 12 hours a day in the sun, or they put their best foot forward. They're very conservative at home. The mom is, even if she doesn't work, she has her hands in something. Mm-hmm. But this is something that I can't answer, and I've tried. I don't understand why our own people, the Hispanic community, why do they always vote for, the more socialistic style of government, that gives them things? Is it because that's how Central America, South America is? Which I don't technically necessarily believe so, because they come here and they're working their butts off.
Yeah. It's a difficult question to answer, like I can only answer from my perspective as Costa Rican, and like we have a country where we have social security. You go to the doctor, you get X amount deducted from your salary every month. Everyone does, but you could easily just go into any government hospital and get anywhere from X-ray to heart open surgery. So when you come to the country like this, you try to go after the same thing, which becomes basically your security blanket. You fall into, okay, if the government is taking care of me, I'm taken care of. I don't have to go out of my comfort zone. I don't know. Maybe that's it. I can't really answer you either. But I do know I've seen that a lot. I want to say that is a fear factor of some kind, or a mindset limit, because you think, I'm in a new country. This is not my place. I'm just going to play it safe. You know what I mean? In our countries, we feel we had more liberty of trying new things or messing up, even create our own businesses, even create our, going after things, because we know the language, we know people. At least in my country, it's a lot about connections, who can help you, who can hook you up.
It's just like that here, too.
But if you come to a new country, you're like, I really don't know anyone who's going to hook me up, So you play it safe, in a way.
But the culture for America, historically, doesn't matter where you're from, the mantra in politics today is, this is a country built on an immigrant. That's a fact.
Yeah.
It really is. But no immigrant that has built anything in this country played it safe. Yeah. And I feel that modern day immigrants, in a lot of ways, this is not a generalization. This is just an observation. I'm not trying to generalize anybody's hustle at all, or because everybody's hustle is different.
Yeah.
But there's this weird sect of people, from our countries or anywhere, they come here, and this is what the argument from the right is they come here to take over our social systems. And to an extent, they're not wrong, but to an extent, they're not also doing the whole argument justice. Because I know plenty of people in our own community, that are Latino, Russian, doesn't matter. They put everything on the line, right? They put everything on the line to make a future. I don't think it's fair as a Hispanic man to say that every Latino that comes into this country, doesn't matter if you're from Puerto Rico or from Mexico or from Argentina, doesn't matter where you're from, that you're just here to take advantage. But there are those that do.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Because it's easy, because it's there. When I first moved here, like within the first 6 months, I was so shocked of everything that I could do. I was shocked. And I think I've mentioned this to you. Like, I came here and I immediately got my driver's license. I had a visa. Like you can only stay for 6 months with a tourist visa. I got my driver's license, which meant now I had an ID. So I opened up a bank account. I got AAA on my name. I insure myself, my family, just with a visa. I wasn't even in the records for applying for residency or anything. And there's so many things that are just available to you, you know. And I was surprised because in my country you cannot do anything without paperwork. Like you just can't. Not even you cannot buy a car. I was able to buy a car, everything. I was very surprised about that.
But that's the beauty of the United States, right? It's you don't necessarily have to be, you don't have to have a record of who you are. You have to have the honor of who you are, right? It's like, I'm this person. I mean, it isn't necessarily a good thing. I'm not saying that because there's just all these other security measures we can get into that, you know, with cybersecurity, people stealing other people's stuff and not verifying, because I've been a victim of that. But the fact that you can come here from X or Y country and say, hey, my name is, you know, Bondie Metchore, and I want to start my own, I want to live here. And if you came through the right processes, right, you can do basically have all the rights. You have all the rights that you're guaranteed under the Constitution. But at the same time, there's people that come here and, you know, in illegal ways that, you know, this country finds illegal. You know, they cross the border, they overstay their visa, the 1,000 different reasons we can say they're not here, but yet they're still taking advantage of the same things, and they didn't come the way you did. You came the right way. How do you feel about the people that didn't come the right way, but they're still taking advantage of the way you did?
Everyone has their own path to follow. I do things, you should do things the right way. Unfortunately, you can't always do it that way. You know what I mean? Once you're here, let's say, okay, they're already here in the country, they don't have paperwork. I mean, me being the person that I am, I would try my best to be legal. You know, just not to live without fear, because that has to suck. That's the reality of it. You know, a lot of people come here and they just decide to stay there. I've met a lot of people like, I have 20 years. I don't have a visa. I don't have papers. I just try not to go out too much. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like there is a right way of doing things. And it just basically gives you peace of mind. Gives you, you know that one day you're not going to be deported and your kids are going to stay by themselves. You know, there is always, I see a lot of commercials on the radio. You see a lot of people trying to help those situations. But if you've been here for 20 years and you never even tried to figure out how to become a citizen or become something, have a paper, then that's on you. That's not really on the country, in my opinion. Which is might not be very popular.
The guru has spoken. No, man, that's true. I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's a lot of people that deserve to be here, legally or not. They put in the work, they contribute, but at the same time, it's, you know, there was an article a few months ago that I was having a discussion with a friend of mine online about, you know, immigrants that served in the military and got deported. Now, if you read the headline alone, no military veteran should be deported. If you served this country and you bled, you shouldn't be deported. 100%. But you said something that kind of makes mention in this article. They had a time period in which they had to apply for citizenship, and they did not.
It was just apply. They didn't have
They
to.
did. Once you serve in the military for a minimum of 4 years, you're pretty much guaranteed to become U.S. citizen. Yeah. Right? You have to apply. You have to go through the legal process, but you're guaranteed because you served in the U.S. military. And now these 200 or some odd people that live in Mexico now, they never applied. At face value, I honestly looked at this article, and it's on it's online. Look up deported veterans, and you'll see the article, and you can read a couple of different versions about it. But I looked at it at face value in the beginning. You know, looked at the headline. I'm like, seriously, what the hell? Like, why are they deporting veterans? Like, that makes no sense. Mm-hmm. But then you read into the meat of the story where they didn't lead with, right? It's these guys, some of these guys were, dishonorably discharged. Some of these guys, ran away, and now that made more sense to me. Yeah, you might be a U.S. military vet, but if you didn't serve with distinction and you didn't follow through with the promises you made to the country in which you wanted to serve, you signed up to serve, it kind of says like you did. You know, there are people that are here for 20 years and just they don't follow through.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow through, I'm sorry, you're not gonna reap the benefits.
Yeah.
Of the hard work that you put in.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow through, we can do this all day, and with 1,000 examples. But you're right. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, when you put it in perspective, the U.S. immigration laws are very accommodating. Like they are in comparison to other countries. And I'll give you a Costa Rica example again. My husband, he's born and raised in L.A. He moved to Costa Rica. He lived there. And it took him, even though we were married, it took him about 6 years to get his citizenship through marriage. In Costa Rica, you cannot buy or sell anything if you're not from the country unless you have a corporation set up. And even though you have a corporation, you're paying a lawyer and everything to set it up, you know, where you have actions and shareholders and all that, 40, if I'm not mistaken, 40% has to be Costa Rican owned. So there still has to be a Costa Rican within your board of directors of your corporation for you to be able to purchase any property or do business in the country.
I don't think that's unreasonable for Costa Rica, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is a lot tougher than here in the United States.
Yeah.
It is a lot more stringent. But then again, that's what makes Costa Rica one of the most sought out places for Americans to go live, right?
Oh yeah, we have a ton.
I mean, if it's comparably to the U.S. is cheap property, if I'm correct, right?
Well, it's going up in price, but cost of living is a lot cheaper. For sure.
So it's like Puerto Rico. It's a tax haven for people, the wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it gives an opportunity for Costa Ricans to make a bridge and make relationships to come to the U.S. and, like yourself, start a whole new life.
Yep.
You know, your kids are now more gringo than they are.
I know.
than they are Costa Rican. But you know what? It's the beauty of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I love. This is the beauty of what we do. Man. We got time? Okay. We got time. Man, Bondie, tell me what's going on, girl.
Oh, well, like you said, you know, one of the reasons we moved here was to give my kids the opportunity to go to school here in the States. You know, the opportunity to, because we have a lot of schools in Costa Rica. We have very good education. We have even, you know, you can become a doctor. You can go to UCR, which is UCR, the University of Costa Rica, and it's a public university, and you can become a doctor. Anyone, like the majority of the population of Costa Rica has at least high school level. You know, everyone. Like now we have so many lawyers and so many in certain careers, so many professionals that we're going after technicals. You know, we need more people just to stay in a lower level because everyone has a degree.
That's where this country is heading.
Yeah, which is a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, but there's also it's also a bad problem to have, right? Because then all of a sudden, who builds the cars? Who builds the railroads?
Yeah, but again, United States has all this immigration influx, so there's always going to be this circle. You know, there's always going to be, I don't know, lesser paid. I don't know what the correct term, but
well, Bondie, we're getting ready to wrap up here in a little bit. Final question of the day. This is my favorite question because I've been asking this question every day. What are you looking forward to 2018?
Oh, I'm looking forward to establishing my business, helping more people, more entrepreneurs reach and achieve their dreams. I'm looking forward to, you know, any door that God opens just to walk through them. I'm open to new opportunities, open to new clients, open to new businesses. I love finishing new websites. I've done websites from roofing companies to bloggers to now a podcast, cupcakes, spas. I've done all kinds of things. So it's just a cool thing to do. And I'm open to anything that comes next year.
Awesome. Where can they find you and how can they find you?
Well, I'm on pretty much everywhere. They can find me as Bondie, Bondie Designs on Instagram. And from there, they can find me on Facebook. Everything is on my Instagram. That's the easiest way to find me. But I have my website also, BondieMetchore.com. And I have all the different products I work with and all the different, my portfolio is there as well. So anywhere, like if they type Bondie, they'll find me.
That's the way to go. Now, don't forget, guys, that she is now Bondie Designs is an official sponsor of the Conservative Papi podcast, and this is just our way of solidifying the relationship. Also, our other big provider and sponsor is ProFlow AV. Gavin and Thomas do keep us on time every time. They do everything audio video for the podcast, and they help us grow as well. So now with the Bondie and ProFlow connection, we're going to try to build this podcast and make awesome content for you guys coming out in the future. Don't forget to listen and give us a 5-star review on iTunes, and go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And my name is Daniel. I am the Conservative Papi, and guess what? We're out.